Alright, today we're going to talk about these connecting rods that I got in the mail from MaXpeedingRods. I believe it's a Chinese company, I'm pretty sure, which is fine. No problems there. We all know where most of the rods we all use come from anyway. And these are H-beam rods, stock replacement H-beam rods. More on that in a minute. See, it's got a cool box. They're packaged fairly well. You got your instructions here with your torque specs. Customer service card. It actually has, I think it's got some other information in it. Yeah, it's got cool information about the company. The rods are obviously individually packaged here. Let's see, we'll set that up there. Part number for these guys is CR Volvo 152, which I assume stands for Connecting Rods Volvo 152 millimeter, but you know, I can't be positive about that. It's like your standard H-beam rod. It's got the company logo on it right there. Pretty neat. Comes with ARP hardware. Orange on the ground. Since this is always something that gets talked about in the Volvo world, I happen to have factory rod bolt here, and I've mic'd them before. There's about a millimeter difference on the non-threaded part of the bolt. Thread pitch is a little bit finer on the ARP rod bolts. Obviously they're a little bit shorter, so they don't have quite as much to stretch, or quite as much distance to stretch to apply the force against. Anyway, that one always comes up. Why aren't you running the bigger rod bolts? Well, honestly, I've never had a problem with this size rod bolt. I ran the same size rod bolt in the stroker motor in my gold car, the old motor out of this car. Hadn't had a problem with them. Now, there's probably a point at which you can experience rod bolt fatigue or failure or whatever, but that is probably far beyond what anybody, well, most people are going to be doing. Not anybody. I can't speak for everybody. I will say this, given the horsepower ratings of the rods, you're probably going to exceed the rated power of the rods before you run out of rod bolt. At least that's been my experience. Now here we got a stock piston, and we'll check the fitment, although I'm sure it's fine. It feels pretty good. Feels about perfect. There we go, pushed in. No, I mean, the noise you're hearing is the fact that I haven't put a clip in on this side of the piston. But it's not, there's no side to side. It's got a good amount of the travel that you want. Not far enough. Yeah, still not far enough. There we go. Anyway, got that. Let's see. Of course, this is a 100-some-odd thousand mile wrist pin that I'm using here, so new pins probably fit a little bit more snug, but it's pretty good. It's just nice. Yeah, perfect. That's what I would say. These are not going to be crank-steered rods, I don't think. Based on the dimensions, which is, like I said, they're a stock replacement connecting rod. You know, big end, little end, everything like that. I mean, you can see they pretty much line up. Everything lines up. It's pretty square. So if you're going to be ordering aftermarket pistons when you get a set of rods, you're going to want to make sure that you get ones that are also set up for piston steering, or see if these guys carry the version that has the wider big end that converts it to crank steered. As far as horsepower capacity, I don't know that it really makes that big of a difference. You just have to pay attention to it. Really not a whole lot else to say. They're packaged pretty well. I can't wait to get them in the car. Those are for the black wagon, Project BPU. And most of y'all know me, or most of y'all that do know me long enough to know that anytime somebody talks about making more than about 300 horsepower, I tend to recommend upgrading the connecting rods, because it is probably the weakest point in any of the V230 engines. Even the big old 13 millimeter rods like this one right here, I mean, unless your tune is perfect, once you start getting up there with your cylinder pressure and boost and all that stuff, they don't hold up very well. One bad tank of gas can ruin your day there. It's happened to me a couple times. I've only thrown one, but I've bent several sets of rods over the years. Never had a problem with any of these style rods, and these look great. Like I said, I can't wait to get them in the car. I'm still looking for an engine. Unfortunately, I couldn't get one in time to have a installation video to follow this up with here real quick, but I'm still looking, and I'll get that out there as soon as I can. One of the other things that I noticed about these rods versus some of the other maybe less expensive, call them eBay rods, these have numbers burned into the side. I believe it's the weight of the connecting rod. Maybe not, but I think it's the weight. And at any rate, the numbers all seem to be, they match up. They're not the same, but they match up, and they'll allow you to keep, I mean, if you pay attention to it. I guess if you didn't pay attention to it, you may not know, but with no other markings, like the Volvo rods have a marking, a number stamped in the side so that you don't get the cap flipped around. These guys, a lot of your really inexpensive ones don't have anything. You'll just get a connecting rod that looks kind of like this, and that's it. If you don't etch it or pay attention to where the bearing tangs go, you can get them turned around and you can be in for a bad day. So that's nice. That's a cool added bonus, if you will. Great value. I mean, we all kind of know where they're at. When I get the video posted, there will be a link and a coupon code if you want to hop on their website and check out some of the other stuff they've got. They got a lot of other stuff that's not necessarily Volvo centric, but got a pretty wide selection of stuff on their website. There'll be an 8% off your total order coupon, and obviously I'll have a link included for these connecting rods. Go check them out. It's good insurance for anybody that's looking to make any kind of decent power, and reliably make some decent power. If you're going to make big numbers, they have other connecting rods, and I think they also offer a option where you can upgrade to larger rod bolts if you really are that concerned about it with these. I don't know what the cost for that is, but I know they offer it. So yeah, give them a call, but hit them up, check them out, see what they got.